Sarah felt a knot in her stomach, a persistent unease that had lingered for weeks. John, her husband of 5 years, had been distant. His phone would ping with messages late at night, his laughter echoing with an unfamiliar intimacy during calls he'd take on the balcony. He'd brush it off, blaming work stress or fatigue, but Sarah couldn't shake off the feeling that something was deeply wrong. Her intuition screamed at her, urging her to confront the growing suspicion that gnawed at her, but the thought of that confrontation, of what it might reveal, terrified her. She clung to the hope that she was just being paranoid, that their love, the life they'd built, couldn't be crumbling around her. One evening, John announced he had a work emergency. He rushed out, leaving Sarah alone with her spiraling anxieties. That's when she decided to call her best friend, Melissa, seeking solace and a listening ear. As she dialed the number, a strange feeling washed over her, a premonition that something was about to shatter. Melissa answered on the second ring, her voice overly cheerful. Sarah, her voice choked with unspoken fear, asked if she could come over. Melissa hesitated, then agreed. The drive to Melissa's apartment felt surreal, each streetlight casting long, ominous shadows on the road. When Sarah arrived, she could hear muffled voices coming from inside. Her hand trembled as she rang the doorbell. The door swung open and Sarah's blood ran cold. John stood there, his shirt rumpled, his face flushed. Behind him, in the living room, Melissa sat on the couch, her hair disheveled, her eyes wide with a mixture of guilt and panic. Silence hung heavy in the air, thick with betrayal and disbelief. Sarah couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. The sight before her, the undeniable truth of it, sliced through her like a shard of glass. "Sarah, it's not what it looks like," John stammered, his voice a pathetic whisper. Melissa, her face now stained with tears, could only manage a strangled sob. But Sarah knew, she knew in the depths of her soul that her worst fears had been realized. The two people she trusted most in the world, the two people who were supposed to love and protect her, had ripped her heart out. Rage, hot and consuming, surged through Sarah. "Get out," she choked out, her voice trembling with fury. "Both of you, get out of my life." John tried to speak, to offer some feeble explanation, but Sarah cut him off with a look of utter contempt. They both knew in that moment that there were no words that could ever erase the betrayal, the pain he had inflicted. As John and Melissa scrambled to gather their things, Sarah stood there, her body shaking with the force of her emotions. She watched them go, watched as they disappeared into the night, taking with them the life she thought she knew. The pain was unbearable, a crushing weight on her chest. But even in her despair, Sarah felt a flicker of resolve. She would not let their betrayal define her. She would pick up the pieces of her life, piece by shattered piece, and rebuild, stronger, fiercer, free,